Welcome everyone for yet another video. Today we're going to be discussing about two important questions. How did I start believing? And the following question would be, what am I believing now? Is that true? From a very early stage in life, we have been exposed to a whole lot of information, mainly through our parents, our teachers in our school, our relatives, our friends. You must be very familiar with a lot of childhood superstitious stories, like there is a ghost in the tree, or the aliens, they come and visit in night. And there are many such crazy stories out there. Now, at present, we would reject it outrightly. So basically, we are going to travel through this the process of information becoming something valid for us to accept and then believe on it, and then later firmly holding on to it. So I have put in three categories. We will go one by one. The first category is the authority of a person. I know that any information cannot be given to us without the involvement of a person. So either through our parents or our friends, and not any random person. We won't believe a stranger, but there's kind of a relationship that gives us the credibility that we can listen to this person, and whatever they say, we tend to believe. In case of the teachers, it's a position that this person holds. We accept every information that the teacher gives us. If it is the friend, it is the bond, the relationship that we have, the trust that we built with each other, that we tend to believe what my friend says is true. So we cannot deny the role of a person in the process of us coming to believe something to be true. Sometimes the question, who created us, or what is life is all about, and these kind of questions we tend to go with the spiritual leaders or experienced people who are well knowledgeable in that area, and we tend to take what they have to say about all these things that are unknown to us. So ultimately, it's the authority that we have given, or the credibility that we find in a person, that makes us believe something to be true. The second category is based on the evidence that we find. Take for example a crime scene where somebody has been murdered, and the police and the forensic team would be in full search, trying to find out what evidence they can gather that would help them to understand what has really happened. Every tiny bit of information is very essential in helping them restructure the entire incident that would be very close to what has happened. Whatever the theories they may formulate based on their assumptions and understandings, evidence would stand its ground when it has to tell about what has really happened or about the reality. With the involvement of a person, there can be a lot of space for some biases to come in, and it can be very falsifiable. The evidence cannot be biased. It clearly points out to the truth, and it will stand its ground. So the evidence we have gathered will make us firmly believe something to be true. Moving on, the third category is the belief that is based on the reasoning. Reasoning is a very powerful tool. When we don't have strong evidences pointing us to understand something, we have the powerful tool of reasoning in our mind that can help us to grapple with the different formulations and help us to identify what is true. There is an inbuilt curiosity within us that drives us towards the truth, and it will not let us settle for anything illogical or nonsensical. Just the example of the crime scene. If there are no strong evidences, all we have is just the statements of 2 or 3 eyewitnesses who are not directly connected to the incident. The reasoning is a powerful tool at work, where we try to formulate their statements and merge it together and see how it all fits together in helping us getting the truth of the incident. So putting all these things together, if we have the authority of the person through whom we get the information, and we have the evidence supporting it, and the reasoning that helps us to see the logical and the sensical nature of it, then we have a pretty good case for believing in something to be true. But some listening to this might be thinking, what are you talking about? More than anything regarding evidence or reasoning or the information I get through some person, it is my experience that makes me believe in something. I don't have to rely on anything else. Or what is the problem with such a position? The experience that the person undergoes, it may be very significant, valuable for that particular individual, but there are millions of people having millions of experiences, and how we will be able to formulate together and make it a norm for the rest. But if our experience aligns with the evidence and the reasoning supporting it, we have a pretty good robust case to believing in that particular thing to be true. Let me explain the problem when we dissect these categories and just hold on to one thing. For example, if we are just holding on to the authority of a person, or some may say it's not the person but it is a book that we believe in, like a scripture. But any scripture we hold on to has a language to it, and we know that language is the byproduct of a mind. So at any length we go, we will not be able to deny the involvement of a person in that. But if we hold on to just the authority of a person, and that is what people would call it as blind faith, and it may appeal to some, but it may not be the strongest case to ground our beliefs in. But there would be some holding on to the second category of evidence. There should be enough evidence for me to believe, and there are no strong evidence, so we end up denying everything out there. If we hold on to such a position, we have to look around and see that how many things in life that we may have to end up rejecting. What is the evidence for love? What is the evidence for a mind? And so on and so forth. So standing by the rules of just everything should be purely based on evidence is also not a very solid ground. And the third category of reasoning cannot stand on its own unless it has an information and an evidence to reason about. So all these three things fit together can make our beliefs more solid and strong. We'll take for example the concept of rebirth that many knowledgeable persons hold on to. Just taking the authority of a person, we look at the evidence. Is there enough evidences for us to support such a claim? And does the reasoning also offer us the sensical nature to it? Are we able to answer all the counter questions that may arise? If all these three can be fit together and we are able to formulate a pretty strong case, then we have a stable ground for believing in the concept of rebirth. But if we don't have that, then we have to look at the alternatives and again go through the same route of looking at their claims and the evidence that supports to it, and the reasoning enables our mind to make sense out of it, and then we can have a robust case, and thus we add solidarity to our belief. Looking at all this, some may have this question that why we have to be so skeptical about our belief. See, the term belief, if it just addresses the things that are happening around us, that's a whole different case. But mainly most of our beliefs are around life and death and things beyond our understanding. So let's put to use this gift of human intellect at work and add solidarity to our belief. Hope the content shared in this video are helping you. Please consider subscribing. We will meet you in the next video. Thank you so much for your time.